This week, 8 violent criminals suddenly found themselves in the same legal boat as 11.7 million illegal immigrants. The Supreme Court just dropped a decision so massive it's rewriting everything we know about deportation. Guys, this ruling opens the floodgates. Fast, ruthless, and without apology. No appeals, no delays, no sanctuary. In this video, we're going to break down the real impact of the court's decision and what it means for America's future. The era of endless appeals and stall tactics, it's over. The deportation planes are already fueled and ready. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So today is Friday, and on every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we do a live stream where we read some interesting news stories of the week. We tweak them with a bit of humor, a dash of sarcasm, and a whole lot of conservative common sense. You should join us. All right, so here we are, guys. The next chapter of America's immigration battle isn't some distant future possibility. It's happening right now as we speak. And if you're wondering just how serious this has gotten, let me remind you of a number that should make your jaw drop. 8 convicted criminals who are illegal aliens now share the exact same legal status of more than 11.7 million illegal immigrants currently living in the USA. Now, that's not all of them, but it's a darn good start. So starting this week, every single one of them can be deported anywhere that's willing to take them. No court battles, no endless stalling from Obama and Biden activist judges, no do-overs. It's done. The Supreme Court just delivered the Trump administration a victory so massive, so comprehensive, that it's honestly hard to overstate its significance. This ruling doesn't just clear the way for mass deportations. No, it completely removes the interference factor from those activist judges in lower courts, in district courts, if you will, who have been playing games with our immigration system for years. And this wasn't some wishy-washy, open to interpretation decision either. The court made it crystal clear that the executive branch has full constitutional authority to deport criminal aliens without dragging the process out for years and years. So what exactly does this ruling say? Well, let me break it down for you because the details here are absolutely crucial. The case involved 8 violent criminal aliens. We're talking about murderers, drug traffickers, people who assault others, rapists. All of them were scheduled to be deported to South Sudan. You think, South Sudan? Why Sudan? Here's the part that's going to blow your mind. None of these criminal aliens are actually from South Sudan. Their home countries are like Myanmar, Vietnam, Cuba. I mean, those countries flat out refused to let them come back because they're that bad. So the Trump administration did what any rational government would do. They made a deal with South Sudan to accept these criminals instead. And like clockwork, and I really mean like clockwork, a Biden-appointed activist judge in Boston decided to play hero of the left. He tried to halt the deportations and insisted that these violent criminals be given meaningful notice, along with a chance to be able to contest being sent to a third country. They don't have any rights at all to that. They're here illegally, and they were convicted of crimes. The Trump administration's response was they just completely ignored him. The case worked its way through the legal system, and finally it landed at the Supreme Court. And the ruling, it was beautifully simple, guys. The conservative majority made it abundantly clear that when it comes to deporting convicted criminals, the executive branch calls the shots. End of story, period. That's it. Naturally, it triggered what can only be described as a liberal meltdown of epic proportions. Justice Sonia Sotomayor predictably had her say. She dropped a fiery 19-page dissent where she accused the court of rewarding lawlessness. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, this is coming from the same side of the court that's been completely silent for years while our southern border was turned into an absolute free-for-all. Joe Biden opened the borders and invited people in. But suddenly now we're actually going to enforce the law, right? Come on. Here's what the ruling actually means in the real world. And this is where things get really serious, guys. The president now has the power to deport any illegal immigrant to any country that agrees to take them. Not in 5 years after endless appeals, not after 37 different hearings, not after riots in the streets and Democrats literally hiding people from ICE agents. Right now, quickly and efficiently. The endless appeals process, guys, has been clogging up our courts. That's gone. The stall tactics that activist judges have been using in district courts to do national rulings across the country, done. Those ridiculous, credible fear interviews that somehow managed to buy months and months of delays, well, not anymore. And here's the beautiful part. It's 100% completely legal. There's nothing the Democrats can do. There's actually a law in the books, 8 U.S.C. 123(1)B, that says if a criminal's home country won't take them back, we can legally remove them to any country that will accept them. That's exactly what Trump did. South Sudan agreed to take them, and the Supreme Court said that's perfectly fine. Now, you think about it. Here's what's funny, guys. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller made this exact argument to reporters about a month ago, and they didn't believe him. Well, guess what? He was right. Let's be clear about who we're talking about. These aren't innocent children who got lost on their way to school. These are violent, convicted criminals whose own countries won't even take them back. And we're supposed to keep them here and just make ourselves feel virtuous? That's not a policy, guys. It's emotional blackmail. And legally, it doesn't hold any water. Try to explain that to a libnut. But here's where the story gets even better. The decision doesn't stop with just the 8 criminals. The ruling is essentially a green light for mass deportations that Trump has been promising. A DHS official didn't hold back when he said, fire up the deportation planes. This is our green light. You got to love it. And you got to love this. It's already happening. In just the last few weeks, the Supreme Court has given the Trump administration the go-ahead to revoke protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans and parole for more than 1 million illegal migrants who were admitted under Biden's catch and release clown show and completely redefined Biden-era programs that were shielding people from removal. Why would an administration do that? Translation, the number of people now subject to deportation just absolutely exploded. We're talking close to 2 million illegals, Nicaraguans, Haitians, Cubans, who were once considered protected under Biden. Well, they're now out of here. They have been ordered to leave the country. This isn't about faster deportation processes, guys. This is about a fundamentally broader definition of who can be deported in the first place, because we had the libnuts for decades creating all these gourmet rules that would do anything they can to help keep them here. Why would they do that? Now, thanks to this Supreme Court ruling, district judges can't slow any of this down anymore by hiding behind so-called humanitarian concerns. The High Court didn't mix words. The Supreme Court just told the Trump administration, you have the absolute authority, go and use it. For illegal immigrants who thought they would somehow ride out the clock in America and wait for a more favorable political climate, well, guess what? This is your final warning. Those legal shields that activists have been using to protect you, guess what? They're gone. The deportation planes, they're fueled and ready to go. The legal process, it's already moving at full speed. Guys, we're going to see differences in America very soon. We're getting them out. Every single legal immigrant in the United States is now faced with one very clear, very simple decision. Self-deport now and choose your own destination, or wait for ICE to choose it for you. I don't think you want to wait. Because here's the thing. Illegals may not get the chance to plead their case anymore. They may not get to stay. And where they end up could literally be any country that's willing to take them. This reality alone is going to act as a massive deterrent to people who might be thinking about coming here illegally in the future. The Supreme Court has spoken with absolute clarity. The era of mass deportations isn't coming sometime in the future, guys. They've just given it to us. It's happening right now. This is what happens when you have a government that's actually serious about enforcing its own laws. This is what happens when you have a Supreme Court that understands the Constitution and isn't interested in playing political games. And this is what happens when you have an administration that's willing to do what previous administrations were too weak or too corrupt to do. The message is crystal clear. If you're here illegally, your time is up. Legal loopholes, they've been closed. They don't exist anymore. The activist judges have been overruled by the top court in the land. And the American people are finally getting the border security that they voted for. God bless America, and God bless anyone with the courage to enforce our law. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.